Alright, hey guys, this is Latias with another Black-White OU Wi-Fi battle. This time, it's against another person off of Smogon. Um, we both brought fairly, not extremely mainstream OU teams, so it ended up being a pretty good battle. And I guess there's not much else to say about it. I hope you enjoy the battle, and here it is. Alright, so I'm going to start off with my Mian Shao, and he's going to start off with his Breloom. And the only way that I could possibly feel threatened here is if he's running a Scarfed Breloom set, which I decided is not common enough that I need to be worried about it. So I'm just going to go straight for the Life Orb High Jump Kick, which will be able to take out his Breloom in one hit. I do not believe that crit mattered. I did not calc it, but I think it would one-hit KO with Life Orb unless he was running some significant defensive investment, which I really doubt he was, because that is not very common on a Breloom. But he brings in his Xatu here, and I know these things can be pretty bulky, so I don't think I can one-hit KO with Stone Edge. And I'm also a little bit afraid of the stab flying your psychic move, which he doesn't actually end up having, but I was afraid of it nonetheless. And maybe T-Wave. I'm not sure that it learns T-Wave, but I thought it might. And it ends up going for the Reflect here. And he does not have leftovers, which lets me know that he's almost definitely a dual screen light clay set. And I brought in my Bronzong there, thinking I could maybe threaten him with a Gyro Ball, because for some reason I was under the impression that Xatu's fast when he's really not fast at all. So he just sets up his other screen, and I bring in my Latias since I know that he's going to set up light screen next turn, because he wants to get both of those screens up. And I'm just going to set up a substitute on the switch, because I know that Xatu does not threaten me at all. The only thing he really could have done there was Whirlwinded. And I'm just going to go for Dragon Pulse and Swampert, because I think he's just going to roar me out since I have a substitute up. Oh, geez. And that would be the easiest thing for someone to do if your opponent has a sub up. But he just goes for Stealth Rocks, and now I'm thinking, maybe he doesn't have the Roar, so I decide to go for a Calm Mind. I'm thinking maybe he might go for the Ice Beam too, and I'm thinking after plus 1 or 2 special defense, his Ice Beam won't even break my substitute, even though it's super effective. But he does end up having the Roar. That's okay. A Dragon Pulse would not really have done that much anyway. Doesn't make a huge difference. And he roars me out into Scizor. This is a Choice Band Scizor, and so I'm just going to go for U-Turn because that's the thing that I can hit him hardest with. And I'm going to send back in my Bronzong, thinking he'll either Roar or Earthquake. Either way, it doesn't matter to me because Bronzong resists the Stealth Rock, so I'm not going to be bothered by that too much. And if he goes for Earthquake, I'm obviously immune to it, which is what he ends up doing. And I don't mind that at all. I guess now he knows I'm Levitate, but that's pretty much what all Bronzongs are anyway. I'm predicting him to predict me to go for Stealth Rocks, so he's going to switch out to his Xatu, so I'm just going to go for a Gyro Ball. Again, thinking that it's going to be kind of fast, when in fact Xatu is not fast at all. And so that Gyro Ball is going to do piss damage. Plus he has Reflect up, which helps some more. And I'm not sure that I'm running any attack EVs. But I'm just going to switch back out into Mian Shao, thinking that he can't really threaten me with anything, and I know Reflect's going to wear off pretty soon. I wasn't counting the turns, but I knew it would be pretty soon. And fortunately ends up being this turn, which means that he does not want to stay in risking that Stone Edge kill, because I think it'll be pretty close after seeing that U-turn damage. It'll be pretty close whether it'll KO him, but I just go for that Stone Edge, because I really just want to get rid of that thing, because those dual screens are really going to be bothering me. And, I stay in and I go for the high jump kick here, because I don't think his Swampert will be able to one-hit KO me with Earthquake, because I doubt... Oh, I know, I just go for U-turn. Oh, dang. I thought I went for high jump kick there. My bad. But I go for U-turn since, I can go for a free U-turn since I'm faster than him, and I'll get a little bit of damage off. But he ends up going into his Rapution. Oh, sorry, Conkeldurr is now what he's called. So I'm going to U-turn to my Gyarados, since I can get the Intimidate, plus this is a very bulky Gyarados. I think it's got... Might even have max defense. Plus it's got Waterfall and Dragon Tail, so it's just a complete and utter counter to Conkeldurr, because he can set up as many bulk ups as he wants, but I can just phase him out with the Dragon Tail. And unless he carries Stone Edge, which bulk up Conkeldurrs do not usually carry, I'm set. But I just go for the Waterfall since he does not have any bulk ups up yet. Jeez, that's kind of weird to say. And I don't have Stealth Rocks up, so phasing him out isn't going to get any extra entry hazard damage. So it doesn't really help me to go for Dragon Tail. Sorry, I'm getting behind here. He goes for a Toxic on my Gyarados. It's good to know that he has that. I do not mind that at all, since this is a sleep or rest talking Gyarados with Dragon Tail and Waterfall. And so I can easily rest that off later, which I will end up doing. And I'm just going to go for the Dragon Tail on that turn, just to see some more of his team. It brings in his I forget what that's called, Electric Spider thing. Dentura, I think. Yeah, Dentura. And I predict the Thunder. I thought about that play for a long time because I thought he might overpredict and make the obvious prediction to my Latios and just go for a Bug Buzz, which I knew would do a lot, but I did not think would KO me. But I decided to go for it anyway, and it ends up working out because he sets up a substitute, and I can then break that with the Dragon Pulse, barely live the Bug Buzz, which is extremely convenient. And my Dragon Pulse breaks his sub, and he decides to switch out here, thinking maybe my Dragon Pulse will kill. I don't think it will, but I stay in anyway and go for I go for another Dragon Pulse because I think it might have a chance at killing. I don't know how bulky that thing is. I don't face it very often, but I don't think this Latias is running any special attack EVs, so it probably wouldn't have. But he just switches into a Swampert, which can take that Dragon Pulse easily. But I can just recover off a bunch of damage here. This is a Sub-Calm Mind Recover Dragon Pulse set with max speed and max HP, which works extremely well. I had another match with this team that I'm not even going to upload because I just swept his team with Latias 6-0. Easy. So he's going to overpredict or something. I think I'm going to go for Calm Mind. I don't know what he was thinking, but he goes for a Roar. Maybe he thought I'd set up with Sub or whatever. And that Roar is going to send me into my Terrakion. And I go for close combat here, thinking maybe it'll kill because of how offensive Terrakion is. It just barely misses out on the KO, but fortunately he does not Earthquake. That would have done a ton, maybe even killed me after the defense drop. He just goes for a Toxic, which Terrakion is going to mind a little bit, getting that little residual damage, but it's not too bad for me. I don't really mind it too much. And now I'm going to switch in my Mian Xiao, thinking he's going to want to switch back into his Xatu since I'm locked into close combat, and I think he assumes that since most Terrakions are Scarfed or Banded. Since I didn't have Life Orb, he can assume that. But I predict that switch to Xatu nicely, going to my Mian Xiao, threaten him out with the Stone Edge, but he's just going to go into his Conkeldurr. This time, I'm thinking he's going to predict the U-turn, and he's going to use Bulk Up, so I just go straight for the High Jump Kick, which I know will do a ton, since High Jump Kick just wrecks shop on anything. And he does go for the Bulk Up, does not bother me at all, since now I'll just switch out, thinking he's going to go for Mach Punch, which would do a lot to Mian Xiao. And I'll just go into my Gyarados, get the Intimidate on him, have awesome defense, and he really can't touch my Gyarados with his Conkeldurr at all. That Mach Punch is not going to do much at all since I resist it, and he doesn't have any plus attack at all on his guy. And he's got a ton of damage on there for my Mian Xiao. This is looking great for me right now. I'm in a good situation. But I am Toxic, and I want to get rid of that. I think this turn I go for the Dragon Tail, just making sure that he doesn't get any more Bulk Ups up. And he ends up going for the Payback, which is neutral, and it's only 50 base power since I went for the Dragon Tail, so he goes before me, which just does crap for damage. Those won't kill me, like, ever. And I do Dragon Tail him into his Xatu, which is not very good for me because it means he can set up his screens again for free. Knowing that, he's just going to set up his screens and there's nothing I can do about it anymore, I'm just going to rest to get rid of that Toxic and get my Gyarados back up to full so I can wall his Conkeldurr in the future. That's great for me. And after I rest up, he gets up his Reflect on the first turn, thinking, I don't know, maybe he thought I was going to go for the Waterfall or switch to Mian Xiao like I always do, since that's the main thing I have to take out this Xatu. I'm now going to switch into my Latias, predicting his Light Screen this turn. He actually ends up going for the Wish, which tells me that he has Wish, Roost, Light Screen, and Reflect, which means he cannot touch my Latias whatsoever. And I can just set up a sub for free on him since he's got 2 healing moves, which is decent, but it's a purely support Xatu, which leaves him open to set up pokes like my Latias. So I get up my sub first turn, Calm Mind next turn, and so I'm looking really good here. I got +1 special attack and defense and a sub, and he's not even close to being able to touch me. He goes for a Wish here, and I'm thinking, okay, it's extremely obvious that you're now going to switch to Swampert to try to get that Wish off, so I'm just going to go for Dragon Pulse now. Why would I go for another Calm Mind when it's so obvious because your Swampert's so low? And he does end up switching to Swampert. He makes the obvious play, and I can just take that out with the Dragon Pulse. And now his Wish is completely wasted, and my Latias is in here with +1, and a sub. He goes on to his Heatran here. And I'm feeling he has an Air Balloon, which tells me he's probably not bulky, but I feel like maybe he'll have the Roar anyway, because there's not really much else Heatran can touch me with. And so I just go for the Dragon Pulse to see how much that's going to do. And he also has Dragon Pulse on his set, which means he will be able to take out my sub. But I figure that with how great Latias' special defense is, and since Dragon Pulse doesn't stab on Heatran or anything, I can just start setting up Calm Minds, and after 2 or 3 of these, his Dragon Pulses aren't even going to break my sub. Which is why Latias is such an amazing poke. You know, he can just set up on almost every special attacker in the game easily. Unless they have a stab super effective move, he can just set up all over him. And he actually ends up going for the Magma Storm, which I think prevents me from switching out, but I don't actually know that for sure. I'm not sure how the mechanics work on that move. But I think that's what happens. But I'm not going to want to switch out anyway here because I know I can set up all over him. I go for the recover there since I'm at exactly half HP. And I look at his Dragon Pulse damage there, and I see that it does exactly 84 damage, and I know that my subs are exactly 81 HP. So I know that after one more of my Calm Minds, his Dragon Pulse will not even come close to breaking my sub, which is great for me. My Latias is probably going to sweep his team at this point. He goes for another Dragon Pulse. I check the damage, and I see that it does 68. I was at 270 before, and it brings me down to 212. I know my sub can live that hit, and he's in serious trouble now. I'll set up a substitute on this turn. His Dragon Pulse is not going to break it. But he doesn't actually end up going for the Dragon Pulse here. I get lucky, and he actually just goes for an Explosion, which I obviously did not predict at all. I assumed he was just going to keep going for Dragon Pulses, and I don't see Heatran's carry Explosion anymore because of how it got nerfed, and now it sucks. But that's cool. I guess it works out for him in this situation because his Dragon Pulse wouldn't have done anything. At least now I don't have a substitute. But I do still have +3/+3, which puts him in serious trouble. He brings in his Conkeldurr. I know I'm not in any... not threatened at all by that Mach Punch since I resist it, and Latias is already really bulky. Even if he got a crit there, it would not have killed me. And I can just finish him off with a Dragon Pulse. Another poke down. Latias sweeping through his team. This thing's so good. Nobody ever runs it, too. It's weird. He brings in his Denshura. Just go for a Dragon Pulse on that. I know at +3 it'll easy one-hit KO because I know it's not that bulky. So that goes down. Get some more leftovers recovery. There's not much to talk about here. I'm just going through his team. He brings in his Xatu. I can just Dragon Pulse that. I wasn't sure that this would take it out because I knew that Xatu can be very bulky since people always run bulky spreads on him. And since he's purely support, he's obviously running fully defensive EVs. And that's apparently his last Pokemon. And so this battle actually ended up being a 6-0. At some points it felt like it was a lot closer to me. I don't know. But there were some points there where I was really worried about his Xatu, since it could easily set up dual screens whenever I had anything in besides my Mienshao, which was the only thing I really had to threaten it. But once he lost his Swampert, his team was extremely weak to my Latias, since he didn't have any more phasers, which means I could set up my sub and my Calm Minds, and he really just couldn't do anything about it. So that was a good game. harrisonaslami, funny name, but I like it. I do not believe he has a YouTube channel. Probably should have said that in the introduction, but I'll say it now anyway. So there will be no link in the description. And thank you guys for watching my battle. I'm up to 10 subscribers now. That may not sound like a lot to a lot of people, but it really means a lot to me. You know, I just started this, and I feel like I'm really getting somewhere with it already, and I've only been doing it a couple weeks. So thank you guys. Like my video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of it in my videos, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.